Hello, friends. We're back again. It's Fightful.com. It is Thursday, January the 5th, as I have to look at my calendar because I forgot what day it is.
I'm doing the same.
2023. I didn't get it wrong this time. Welcome back. Impact Wrestling, after taking its week off and doing an award show, we're back. We got a lot of Impact to cover over the next 2 weeks. We're here tonight to do your post-Impact Wrestling show. Then next week, we'll be back again on Thursday night to do your post-Impact Wrestling show. And then we'll be back on the Friday night, Friday the 13th, to talk about Impact Hard to Kill and a card that's shaping up one hell of a way. I'm excited for it. My name is Joel Pearl. It's good to see you. How you doing, chat? It's good to see you. I'm here with my one and only, my ride or die, my happy new year mama. It's Cresta. Starr, how you doing?
Hello, everyone. I'm doing great. What a good Impact tonight. First of all, how was your New Year's?
Low key. I'm not talking about the wrestler.
Who? No.
No, if I want to do that, I gotta talk like this.
I still don't know who that is. It was kind of a joke, but kind of serious.
Look up low key and then never speak about him again. And then you'll know that he talks like this, but he's also looks like he should be talking like this by his size.
You know what? I'm already on it. One thing about Fightful, we do our due diligence. We type while we're working.
So going into tonight, we had planned to basically, some people saw a couple of different thumbnails for tonight's show. I just want to nip this in the bud. I was thinking to myself, man, when are they going to show? Because I said this before. I'm transparent about this. I do read the spoilers when they tape the shows. And I'm thinking to myself, they got to show that assault on Scott D'Amore, and we'll talk about that tonight. That was a hell of a main event segment with Bully and Scott. But like, they have another week until Hard to Kill. Wouldn't that be part of the go home? And then they played it tonight, and up until that point, this was the thumbnail.
Honestly,
I had planned to talk about Dancing Moose for as long as I possibly could. I was going to filibust Dancing Moose.
You're not going to filibust because this would be me right in the background.
We were going to do a 3-hour show on Dancing Moose alone because we couldn't talk any Swingman this week.
Honestly, a disservice to us, most importantly.
By the way, okay, here's the other thing too. I just while I point out impact inaccuracies. Last week on BTI, going into that award show, they promoted a Swinger and Zicky Dice tag match.
They did.
They did not show it. They showed Yuya Uemura, and it was a tag match with Uemura and Delirious, and I forget who they took on. I'm sure someone in the chat watched BTI last week, but I was very confused.
I did not watch BTI last week. I don't even know what I was doing last week, Thursday.
Yeah, neither do I.
Isn't that sad? What happened to our brains?
I am a kid. I don't know what your excuse is.
I have 2 cats.
If you're here, hello, it's good to see you. Leave a thumbs up here on this video on Fightful.com, youtube.com/Fightful. Go ahead, share it amongst your friends over on the socials, if you will. It appreciates us, and we appreciate you for sharing us. And of course, if you want to financially support us here at Fightful.com, you can donate a super chat during the show and get your question or statement around the air. Any amount will do that. Or if you want to before or after, you can donate a Humper Chat, and Cresta will tell you how, why, and when.
You go over to humperchats.com. It's just like a super chat. We will still read your comment, question, or if you want to ask us any advice, we'll still read it on air. We get to keep a little bit more. Sean Ross Sapp is happy. We're happy. It keeps the lights on. Jimmy Van is happy. Moose ain't happy, but most people are happy. Bully Ray is also not happy.
It's true. And we'll talk about Fightful Select a little bit later if you're looking for other ways to get all the scoops and all the scoops, all the good stuff. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But we got to start, as we always do, Cresta, with BTI. And we're going to talk about our good pal, George Iceman, bringing the scoops this week. A legitimate scoop. Cresta, I was excited because, first of all, why is Iceman in a black, empty room?
He was in Callihan's home with the boiler right behind us. Like, George Iceman, what happened? What happened?
We got to talk to George about his placement. I don't know what he's thinking out here. It's just very strange. He mentions that Hard to Kill is legitimately sold out over at Atlanta next Friday night. That's exciting. I'm really happy to see that center stage. It's not a huge venue, but it's going to be good for that show. I think the crowd's going to really enjoy the show. It promotes Full Metal Mayhem, talks about Josh Alexander becoming the longest running Impact World Champion over, I think that was announced today or yesterday. He beat Bobby
over the
Roode's
weekend
title reign. Yeah, it's over the weekend.
They celebrated it today, but I think it was over the weekend, either Saturday or Sunday. Something. That's the way the cookie crumbled.
Had to make sure that Bobby Roode wasn't suddenly going to come after the championship in a random last minute match with Josh Alexander. I get it. Impact.
Can you believe they played the music Glory? Wait, was that his music in Impact?
No, that was his NXT music.
I don't want it. Never mind.
The only way he'll ever come back is with that music, apparently. But the big news from George Iceman was the return of Kushida to Action and Impact at Hard to Kill next Friday. I think that rules. Did not tell you who the opponent is. Some people are pointing towards the possibility of Speedball Mike Bailey, which I would love. But with the way things kind of played out tonight with Speedball and Kenny King, may not be, but they didn't set a time or a place for that challenge. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Kushida at Hard to Kill. Are you excited? Are you looking forward to that?
Welcome back, Time Splitter. I will always say that Kushida is one of those wrestlers where you expect one thing, but he can be technical. He can be high flyer. So this is exciting. I think anytime someone like Kushida, Chris Sabin, and even Kazarian, whenever they come back or come through Impact, I think Impact is better for it. So this is exciting. I want to know who his opponent is. Low key, high key. I want it to be Jonathan Gresham, but I know he has to beat up Edward, so it's okay.
Down the line, Kushida and Gresham would actually be a treat. I would love to see it. We'll see where they go with it, but for now, I'm just jazzed that Kushida is going to be on the card on Hard to Kill next Friday night. And then we have our match of the week on BTI. It's Gisele Shaw taking on KiLynn King. KiLynn King, of course, had a match also at the tapings on BTI, faced Taylor Wilde, who debuted a new gimmick that same match. KiLynn King goes down to Gisele, but not without a great look-see. Both women just tore into each other. Cresta, this was a really, really good match, wasn't it?
At the beginning, because I was live streaming on TikTok, I was like, oh, Gisele Shaw about to get beat up. It wasn't until, let me check my notes, because it was going KiLynn King's way until she missed that frog splash. And then Gisele Shaw onto that backbreak and that pump kick. Oh, okay. I will never doubt this woman again. She's really doing it. And I'm like, I think they even said it at the beginning, at the top of the hour for commentary. This could be Gisele Shaw's year. She could get a championship. I see it. That was really good. And I fully expected KiLynn King to beat the brakes off this girl. And not to say that KiLynn King did it, but I expected her to win and beat the brakes off this girl. So I was pleasantly surprised. Did you enjoy it?
I did. I really did. I said it before, I say it again. I'm a big fan of Gisele Shaw. I love watching her compete and get better every single time we see her in the ring. And KiLynn King, we knew what to expect when we saw her arrive in Impact. So I'm excited for more opportunities for her. King, like you said, misses with that frog splash that she normally can hit. Instead, she gets hit with the full Nelson backbreaker into a face buster. That's what Gisele calls shock and awe. And it's only a near fall. I like that they didn't have that in the match. Instead, we had to do the denouement, which is the knee strike, but not before that double stomp pants shitter, as I will call it.
The pants shitter.
Man, if somebody lands with all their weight, with both feet down on your stomach.
I thought that happened to Taylor Wilde. I'm not going to hold you. The way she was holding her stomach, like, yo, Masha Slamovich, everything that's in her stomach is in her pants now.
Oh, that is the next match we're going to talk about. But Gisele Shaw picks up the win, and that's not the end of Gisele tonight. We'll get to that in a minute. The main Impact show starts. They flash up on the screen a tribute, an RIP to Don West, who passed away yesterday. So yesterday, the day before. Sorry, my days kind of string together.
I feel like it was the weekend because they definitely sent condolences on a Monday on Raw, which was really classy, all things considered, for WWE.
Absolutely right. My brain is just in time is a flat circle. You're right.
It's okay.
He passed away before the new year. My thoughts with Don's family, and they had a really, really nice career retrospective of Don West on the show later on in the broadcast. Nothing more I can say right now about Don West. It was really sad to lose him, but he has so many moments on Impact that will be remembered and replayed all the time on their various platforms. So
Impact did him really well. That video package was really sweet. It was really nice.
They really did. Masha Slamovich takes on Taylor Wilde in the opening competition. We mentioned that. Deonna Purrazzo's on commentary. It's the first time ever. And the first thing I asked myself is, did commentary overdub everything? Because I don't know if you saw this.
I heard it. I heard it. And I don't know if it was overdubbed or whatever it was, but the sound quality until about, I wrote it down in my notes, like, oh, the sound quality up until the major players match.
All I could hear a lot of that. But it's the content that got me. Because the first thing that they ask Deonna Purrazzo is, are you upset that you didn't win the award for match of the year? And I'm thinking to myself, they filmed this in the middle of December, and the award show was
you're exposing the business. You're exposing the business, Joel. This is live.
either your awards are work.
You're being a cardi right now. Mind your business. This was live. All right.
That's how it works. No, I thought it was. It's harmless fun. But I do like that they bring up the awards and they make that part of canon and make it part of the reasoning why people want a match or want to stay away from a match. So it's good. In the beginning of the match, Taylor Wilde with a vicious double knees through the middle rope onto Masha Slamovich, who lands like head first on the apron. It is gnarly.
I liked it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it was really good stuff.
I was going to say, in the beginning of that match, it was literally arm drag, power move, arm drag. As the Ute would say, or the insiders, it was fine catch wrestling. I was sports entertained. It was stiff. Like, again, when we talk about those, when Masha finally throws her from like the third arm drag and then steps on her stomach, I was like, yo, we have to fight backstage afterwards. Because I felt that. But that was a good, and the ending, Masha was so that. Masha Slamovich lost, y'all, to the most devastating move in the game besides hitting your yam bags, the small package, the roll up. And Masha afterwards was like, excuse me? She was so, she attacked the sound guy. She attacked the freaking security. I don't know which referee it is, but it's the bald-headed black guy. He always looks like, get the hell out of here. It was so good. I feel bad for anyone who has to wrestle Masha next because she's pissed.
Well, she's going to wrestle at Hard to Kill in that 4-way #1 contenders match with, who is it? It's her, Taylor Wilde, Deonna Purrazzo, and they just added Killer Kelly to that match. I'm jazzed. Whoever wins that is #1 contender. We're going to talk. Yeah, I got my jazz hand after this. Whoever wins that match, and I have theories, and we're going to talk about next week when we do the Hard to Kill rundown for the card, and when we talk about the actual Hard to Kill show. I have my feelings as to how that might go. But for now, this match between Taylor Wilde and Masha Slamovich really did live up to it. There were some clunky moments, don't get me wrong. At one point, Taylor Wilde goes for her wild ride, and it looked like she had a bit of trouble getting Masha up. It was just more of a positioning thing. But other than that, I mean, I don't mind it when a wrestling match can sometimes look like a bit of a fight and a grapple. At one point, they both go down. And one thing I really liked is that while they both go down, Wilde and Masha, you see that Masha yanks the elbow and arm of Taylor Wilde in order to bring her down. And I really like that. Just little things like that really make a really fun match. You mentioned the end. There's the attacking David Penzer and then attacking the security guard and hitting it with a snowplow on the floor. And then just up the ramp, just up yours to everyone. She could see it. Masha's pissed losing that match.
She's a treasure. And honestly, her versus Deonna Purrazzo, that has been something I'm still like. And I do think Killer Kelly and Taylor Wilde add something special to this, but I think the meat and potatoes of that match is Masha versus Deonna. And I'm happy for it because I think it's going to be a good match regardless because all 4 of those women are the ones. And it'd be nice to see Killer Kelly. Let me say that. It'd be nice to see her.
I want to see the interactions between Masha and Killer Kelly. I want to see how they interact within the match because I know that's something you and I have talked about a lot, and that's something that the chat's brought up a lot. This is the first opportunity for them to be face-to-face in a match. They're facing each other, but, in Fatal 4-Ways, sometimes you got to team up with somebody to take out other people. I like it. I'm all a fan of it.
I can't wait to hear Masha start screaming in the thing. Yeah! I love it. I'm here for it.
wild. I'm very excited for that match. We'll talk more about it. I know we will. M.A. Soko kicks us off with a Humper chat saying Taylor Wilde and Masha Slamovich brought fast-paced fire. This was a great opener. I 100% agree. Soko, are you going to the Vegas tapings in February? Immediately, I thought of you when they announced those. I'd like to hear that. So tell me in the chat. You don't have to super chat or anything. Ricardo, the ODV, donates super chat, says, Happy New Year, you two. Glad to have you back. Well, we're glad to be back with y'all. We appreciate
Thank you for pulling up. We appreciate you, youngman.
And Dobby the Brain Heenan saying, welcome back, Joel and Cresta. A solid episode with some great video packages.
Agreed.
Hard to Kill is looking stacked after tonight's announced additions. I agree. I'm looking forward to it. More so than I was even 3 weeks ago. This is going to be a good card.
I was looking forward to it until they announced all these extra matches. This is going to be a long card. That's my only complaint. This is going to be a long card.
I don't think it'll be that long. I think because we went into it with only about 4 matches, and now we're coming out with what, about 6 or 7 now? Typical
feels like 16.
Card.
It feels like 16.
Listen, I know we're not the AEW post show, but after Bryan Danielson told MJF, hey, we're going to do an hour-long Iron Man match at the next pay-per-view, and I was just like, that show's going to end next Tuesday at 8 p.m.
I'll see you guys on Valentine's Day. I'll still be watching Full Gear.
Bryan Danielson is going to go up to TK and be like, here's my idea. We're going to do 60 minutes. It's going to be tied at the end of 60. And then we're going to go another 90. And TK is going to be like, God damn, that's brilliant. Let's do it.
MJF is going to see this like, what makes you think I can do all this shit?
He's sitting in the background being like, I don't agree.
I'm the champion. Why would I do? I'm not doing that.
I think Impact will stick to a 3 hour, maybe 3 1/4. Maybe they'll stretch it out a bit. I know the last show they did on Impact Plus or on YouTube, whatever you want to call it, that went a little over 3 hours, which was fine because they had that 55-minute bully turn. So we'll see what they do. But that being said, Hard to Kill really does look like a solid show.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll see a 5.5 hour show. I think that would drive me.
I don't think it'll be 5.5 hours. And if it does go 4 hours, because now that I'm seeing more, I think this Bully Ray and Josh Alexander kerfuffle will go the distance. Yeah. I just hope that it's paced well enough where you're not blowing your load in the first hour to 2 hours. So by the time you're hour 4, like, I'm tired, please, and please. So
as long as it's well paced, that's really what it comes down to. Soko is going to the Vegas show, so I'm very excited to get to.
You are literally our insider, Soko.
He's our Vegas insider. He's our Vegas Iceman.
M.A. Soko here.
With the voice. Amazing. Sammy Callihan yells into a camera, says he got beat up by the Design Weekly, but that won't deter him. He sees the intrigue in the eyes of the Design. He mentions the kind of violence they could get into together, and he reiterates, I softened up Eric Young, and you guys killed him, and now Sammy wants the Design, but the Design wants Sammy Callihan. He wants an answer by the end of tonight. Kind of gets one, but we'll get there. A lot of promos tonight. They showed 2 weeks ago when Rich Swann and Steve Macklin yelled up and down at each other, and Rich Swann threatened to kill Steve Macklin, which you never do in a wrestling promo. Don't do that. You can't follow through on that.
I mean, Impact. Are you sure? Because I've seen 2 murders last year. Impact, it's quite possible to kill somebody.
You're right. Of all the places, Impact would be the one place where you could be like,
exactly,
and you actually take it seriously.
And this is Scott D'Amore.
Oh, we'll talk about what that he did tonight. So Swann is backstage, and he says, Steve Macklin claims he wants the Impact title. He won't get there by countouts. So instead, Rich Swann challenges Macklin to a Falls Count Anywhere, no disqualification. The whole no holds barred at Hard to Kill next Friday. Both men want the world title, and it goes through Rich Swann, and he'll have to fight him all night long for it. I like it. This is a match that went really hard the first time. I want to see it have a conclusion at Hard to Kill. How'd you feel about the promo? Are you looking forward to the match with Swann and Macklin?
I don't want Macklin to kill Swann, but I think I have to put Rich Swann kind of in the same category as Eddie Edwards and even Motor City Machine Guns. You are Impact family. You are Impact royalty, if you will. You could win and it won't bother you. You could lose and it won't bother you. I don't want to see Steve. I think Steve Macklin is going to beat up Swann to send a message. And I respect Swann for doing the JOB, but I don't do. That's going to be a good match. It's going to be a good match. But Swann he's going to get his ass beat. And if he wins, Steve Macklin going to be so mad.
I'm here for it.
I can't. Ooh, if that happens, him and Moose are gonna be so mad.
Could you imagine those two going from teaming up to looking like absolute, you know what's?
Moose, after tonight, absolutely. Macklin, Macklin's gonna act like the way Masha acted, and no one is safe. He's gonna start terrorizing that whole roster.
Tommy the Brain Heenan with the super chat saying, "I'll kill you" is never an empty threat in Impact. It's true. It really isn't. It is absolutely. It really it's just the reality. It can happen.
No workman's comp. You just the rest of the job.
You heard Scott D'Amore. Everyone in the back does everything by the book. Everyone is respectful to each other, unless they're trying to murder you.
Bro, you talk about the same Edward Edwards that buried PCO. I understand he's undead, but that's not by the book. This man shanked this man.
Is PCO going to be the first presumably dead Impact wrestler to come back?
Oh, Eric Young?
No, PCO.
Well, I mean, how can you kill one that doesn't have a life?
True. Someone did pop up with a thing. Anyway, let's move on. Black Taurus and retro Anthony Greene, our former NXT man. They had a match. So Crazy Steve's back. He does the intros, which I love. It's a good tune-up match for Black Taurus, but this was a lot of Anthony Greene, and I wasn't the biggest fan of this. I thought this should have been Taurus absolutely tearing into Anthony Greene as the number one contender, as the guy facing Trey Miguel for the X Division Championship at Hard to Kill. I just expected more from Taurus, and we got that in the very end of the match, right? He just goes in, hits the big backbreaker, the Destination Hellhole, the Sling Blades, the pop-up Samoan drop, all the stuff. The match itself, though, it was very much Greene, and that's fine. But in terms of the story, to me, I kind of expected a little bit more Black Taurus. What do you think of this match with Greene and Taurus?
I liked seeing Anthony Greene. I never saw him before. Didn't even see him in NXT. So it was nice seeing him. I wish this crowd was ravenous when they wanted to be, but I felt they were really quiet for this match. And Anthony Greene is giving it his all. I do like that Black Taurus is like, hey, this is what he can do, but I'm going to beat him up in the end. But to me, it made sense. In the sense of afterwards, you're running up the ramp and Trey Miguel's going to tag you. So why would I get completely beat up and then get tagged? Like, God, give me a little something. And it was a competitive match. I liked it. I don't think. And that's my first problem. I don't think. My second problem is I don't think Black Taurus is taking it off for Trey Miguel. Not when he's just started to go full on Lex Luthor. And that makes me sad.
I can't say I disagree with you. And when we give our predictions next week, I think we'll be on the same page in that X Division Championship match. Post-match, Trey Miguel blindsides Anthony Greene while he's walking up the stage, tags him with the spray paint. Crazy Steve and Black Taurus watch on. Of course, they're pissed off. Yeah, I mean, listen, when you spray paint the title that you're holding, feels like you're going to hold it for a little while, doesn't it?
Or if they change the nameplates on the side, I kind of feel like
the nameplate thing is easy. I think a lot of people get like, they don't know what to expect when it comes to that. They think like, oh, because they're holding like it just has the logo of the company, that's enough. But it's not. I don't know. It's strange.
Well, he could just take an ECW style and shatter it and say it's mine now. That's pretty permanent.
Well, you don't have to worry about Kenny King because he went to Montreal.
Yo, he's a bully. I thought we were leaving bullying behind.
No, we're going to talk a lot about that guy. Kenny King goes to Speedball's dojo in Montreal. First of all, I want to know, Kenny King, if you're watching, did you go to Schwartz's Deli? If you know, you know. Also, where is Shane Hawk in this entire video? He is a Montreal wrestler from IWS. He should be in this segment, but he's not. Kenny King goes to the dojo, belittles everybody, and then takes them all out individually, and then rips up Speedball's Keys to Victory sign, which for some reason is just like on this rinky-dink piece of, basically it's like your 7th grade
mood board. Listen, sometimes motivation comes from the simplest places. I look at my Vaporeon in the back and I tell myself, I am one with water. It doesn't have to be special. Sometimes I just need more. Maybe it changes. Rip it down. When you have people like Kenny King come in, you could put it back up.
Are you a vision board person?
I want to turn my camera around so you can see my vision board.
Yes.
I have a calendar and a goal board. I wish you could see it.
Hey man, shout out to those who do it. Personally, I don't because my brain capacity doesn't keep it. But I feel like Speedball is also he's
A mood board
a
kind of
vision
guy.
board kind of guy, mood board
You
kind of
can
guy.
blame Joe Hendry for that for the whole mood vision goal board. He said, write down your goals. And that's what I did.
Yeah, he did do that in his cameo that MA Sokol got for us. I said I'd show everyone, and I will. I'll tweet it on my @Fightful account. How's that?
Joel's going through a lot, y'all. Give him love, send him love. Go to @JoelPearl on Twitter and be like, hey Joel, I love you, dog.
I love y'all too. Ricardo with the super chat saying the NXT parking lot has nothing on Impact. People die there. It's true. If they don't die, they get put through tables.
Or you get lost in, I guess, the Twilight Zone. You go in as Havoc, you come out as Jessica, you go in as Su Young, you come out as Susie, you go in as Susie, you come out as Susan. So it's a black hole in death.
Yeah, but nobody dies. It's just purgatory for your soul.
I'm pretty sure Eric Young died.
Oh yeah, no, he's definitely dead. So anyway, we get to the end of that segment. Speedball's keys to victory have been ripped up, and that's what does it. Speedball is angry, and he challenges Kenny King to a pit fight, not a fight pit, because we're not going to get into the to the copyright issue. It's a pit fight. No ropes, no rules, and I want to see Kenny King and Speedball in that match. You think they do it at Hard to Kill, or do you think they'll do it on a main event of Impact? They'll tape it. What do you think?
I think that would be cute for Hard to Kill, considering the stipulation. But it's one of those things, too, where it's like, first of all, Speedball Mike Bailey spit on him 2 weeks before with water, threw popcorn on him. It took him ripping up the side for him. It's like, I've fucking had it. I can hear Daniel Bryan right now, like, yes. I mean, Bryan Daniels said yes, environmentally conscious. That's what sent them over the edge. I think it would be cute to do it Hard to Kill, even like a fight pit. And I'm not trying to like discredit them, but I could see that on either the pre-show or the first match. That'll be a great way to start it off high. And then
I don't think they'll do it as a pre-show thing. I understand why you could do it on a pre-show as kind of a you should really buy this pay-per-view. It's a good selling point, but I feel like it's too much to give them as that, as a selling point. I think that this is a big feud that they're going to blow off in a special match that they don't normally do, right? But we'll see. I look forward to the match. I think they're going to tape it. That's my inclination. Is that
I could see that too. I could see it happening right the main event for next week, or it could the after. But I can also see it at Hard to Kill because Kenny King literally been terrorizing Speedball for no reason. He's jealous.
Solko with a super chat asking, do you think Speedball has ever yelled before? I'd love to hear that. You think so? Who they yell at?
I feel like you hear him yell in the ring all the
time. Angry Speedball, like he really like he goes to Starbucks and he gets his order wrong. Does he go?
Nah. I don't think Speedball goes to Starbucks and he get his order wrong. He start yelling. I think it's like, are you trying to take this young lady's purse? Prepare to die.
Even that he would do with like a smile and a smirk on his face.
He's so wholesome.
He is so wholesome. I don't know. I'm stumped.
You would have to get under his skin. It would take like a Moose or Sammy Callihan fucking with him for months. Because even tonight, hearing him yell was more like, you beat up my student, you bastard. And even then, it wasn't even like a real yell. I think it would take someone like, even a Bully Ray getting under his skin for months for him to be like, yo, you wanted me to be crazy? I'm crazy now. So I think it'll be cute.
Maybe Speedball yelled at somebody when he went to replace the Bristol board where he wrote his keys to victory. And he went to the Dollarama. And when he got to the Dollarama, they didn't have any Bristol board left. And that was it. That was the breaking point. He'd had a rough day.
He had me in the first half. I'm not going to lie, Joe.
His tuna sandwich wasn't made very well. They used
the tuna.
Yeah, they used too much mayo. The Subway guy just messed up.
You know what? Even though you didn't realize you did this, my whole notes tonight, the theme of tonight was not the this. So I wrote that for Sammy Callihan, not begging the joy. I wrote that for Violent by Design, not saying you gotta get jumped in. So you're very on brand. You and your father, Scott D'Amore, won.
Well, if there's one thing you're not going to do, it's not subscribe to FightfulSelect.com.
Good segue.
$5 a month. Get all your news. You want to talk about, oh God, it broke me today. Vince McMahon, if you want to get all the news about that, fun.
Memes. That's
Whatever that is, you could do that. If you want to ask Grapsody, they did a live Ask Grapsody today. Go check that out. And maybe you want updates on Mercedes. You have to say it right. Monet. Not Monet. It's Monet. You got to say it Mercedes Monet. I'm ripping off there was a bit that Dave Meltzer did earlier.
I was having the best time in my life because we thought at first it was Mercedes Monet with the T, so we're calling her Monet. But it's not, so it's just Moan. Mercedes Moan.
Yes. For the Francophones, there's an accent aigu, so it's Monet. Anyway, she pronounces it Monet. If you want the updates on that woman, you can go to focusmode.com. You can also get the weekend. Oh, yeah, it's like Monet in French. Okay. That makes sense. Thank you, Steve, our French correspondent. That makes perfect sense. If you want the Weekender podcast with Stephen Jensen, if you want Sour Grabs twice a week with Alex Pulowski and sometimes Kate Elizabeth, if you want, the list goes on. If you want the new Scott Edwards Select Style Weekend podcast, that's coming to Fightful Select. So much for your $5. Just go ahead and join us now because we're breaking all the news. You get all the scoops, so go get more scoops. All right, 2 scoops of raisins and Fightful Select Raisin Bread.
Fightful Select Raisin Bread. I mean, we already got a commercial. I don't know if you saw Sean Ross Sapp's commercial. Now we got cereal. Fightful Select Scoops Raisin Bread.
My only question is, how do we employ so many people named Rob in this company? Every other person is named Rob. Our video editor who did that commercial, his name is Rob. I've had lunch with him a couple of times. Very nice guy.
So many Robs.
Too many Robs in this damn company. Pro Wrestling Podcast. Joel and Cresta, I don't watch Impact. I should, but I don't know. Here's $5. Well, thank you for that. You should watch Impact. It's a fun show.
I'm going to get on my soapbox for that because I used to be like you. Like, oh, Impact is so this. Honestly, I tweeted this earlier. Impact has been quite the utopia with how crazy wrestling, backstage news, in-ring stuff has been the past year. A lot of the things, because I've had conversations with Joel offline, like, why don't people like Impact? Yeah, quote unquote, it's carny, but it's literally not like that anymore. So if you are someone who's like, I want good wrestling, Impact never has I also like everything, but Impact to me never has a bad match. Commentary is funny as hell. And think about your favorite promos. Think about Taz, my balls. Or you know that they say all men are created equal, but you look at me as Samoa Joe, you say that's not true. Or, oh, Booker T sizing them up. Booker T looking at Petey Williams. Yeah, all of that came from Impact. All of that came from TNA. So your favorite things from wrestling have already come from TNA. Give it a shot. The worst that can happen is that you like TNA and you got to spend an extra $5 on YouTube, their Ultimate Insiders, or you can look at it on Access. I don't know where Access is in your country or your state, but honestly, Impact is so good. And Tom Hannafin and Matthew Rayraw on commentary is clowns. So I encourage everyone to watch it. Stiff matches, good matches, and Joe Hendry.
That was amazing. Never in a million years would I have expected that from you, and I'm so proud right now.
I did a lot of growing up, Dad.
I'm quelling, Cresta. I am absolutely. Yes, and by the way, so yeah, you can watch it on YouTube. That's how I watch it, youtube.com/Impact Wrestling, and you can go, it's $1 a month if you just want the TV shows. If it's $5 a month, you get the Impact specials as well, the non-pay-per-view events. So you won't get live Hard to Kill, Slammiversary, Bound for Glory, or Rebellion, but you'll get all the other shows. Those other 4 pay-per-views, the quarterlies, they're on Fight TV or payperview.com. They're available, but I recommend it. You know, I'm a little biased. By the way, going back to Fightful Select, yes, do not forget Coexisting After Dark with Rob and Maggie. And while you're at it, go to FightfulOverbooked.com. You can watch the actual Coexisting with Rob and Maggie. They're on Fridays, and I host a show there too on Fridays and on Sundays. So there you go.
He's a working man. He's a working man.
The show's actually on Saturdays. I tape it on Fridays, but you don't have to know that. The show drops Saturday morning.
The business all night tonight, Joel.
I know. I'm having a thing. Yeah, there we go. It's on YouTube. Say less. So, and also, if you're not able to necessarily plop down the money monthly, they do put up the show, I think 24 hours or 36 hours after it airs originally on YouTube. So it's all there. Just go to their YouTube. Let's talk about Jonathan Gresham and Ernest R. Anthony. This is a match that existed.
Poor era.
Ernest Anthony, by the way, is just, I'm going to put him over for a second because he got the shit kicked out of him for all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
But he was so good with the selling.
Oh, I was buying it. I thought he was dying.
You could see the pain. You could feel the pain. It was perfect. I really, really, really have to say that he did a great job selling everything Gresham did. And he was a cocky little shithead to begin with, right? Adheres to the code of honor because Jonathan Gresham still believes in that. And then just Gresham just beats the shit out of him. Just not even beats the shit, just manipulates.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think he beat the shit out of him. He stretched that man. He gave him a stretching, like, oh, that's a stretching.
Yeah. He pins him while he's in the middle of getting him in an ankle lock position. So there you go.
That pin was gnarly. I would never want to fight Jonathan Gresham. You got it, pal. Finger poke me to doom because there's no way. There's no way.
Yeah,
unless I need a chiropractor, there's no way.
Just gnarly. Thank you for the extra $1 for our YouTube fees. Pro Wrestling Podcast.
We love
Go
you,
check
Pro
them out,
Wrestling
by the way.
Podcast.
They're doing some great work. Go check them out. Hey, Albert Ponce with the super chat saying Hard to Kill pay-per-view is going to slap hard. Like I said 100 times, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun show. And we're gonna be live after the pay-per-view on Friday the 13th. We'll be here on Fightful.com reviewing the show. AEW and Rampage, SmackDown post shows be damned. We're going to be here. We're going to be doing our thing. So come and hang out with us after Hard to Kill. Cresta and I will be here to talk about the show. Let's move on. Tasha Steelz and Savannah Evans are in the back. They're like, we lost. We suck. Why do we suck so bad? And then they do, I love this. They do this exact same Gisele and Jay Vidal entrance again. With the slow motion coming out of the same hallway and she's wearing the same outfit. It's perfect. And it's so stupid. Shit like this always makes me laugh.
Cheap pop. Every time. You'll get me every time.
Yeah. So Gisele offers a tag up with Savannah Evans and Tasha Steelz. Says, together we can beat the Death Dolls. And Tasha Steelz is like, whoa. Every time you join a team, the team breaks up. And then Gisele points out that Evans and Steelz are having their own issues, and Steelz is like, no, not important. Not important. And I just love it. And then Gisele just starts using, Shaw math and is like, oh, it's like a double negative, which is kind of like a positive. And while she's talking, Jay Vidal takes a photo and is like, oh, you all just look really good together. And all of a sudden, Gisele's like, if you add her and Jay Vidal to this team, it'll put them up one person over the Death Dolls. And again, this is Gisele Shaw math. And then Tasha's reluctant. And then Evans is like, no, I want to hear her out. So they huddle and then we're done. This was just harmless, funny, stupid shit. What did you think of this segment?
Honest and concise. Because when Tasha Steelz said, because I think you said this last time we did this, Tasha Steelz like, no, because every time you join something, nah. But I do like how Evans was like, wait a minute. We ain't winning on our own. So shut the hell up, Tasha Steelz. This will eventually lead into a Tasha Steelz, Savannah Evans, and I'm here for it. Tasha Steelz and Gisele Shaw in a tag team clownery. It just reminds me of this fanny pack situation.
I didn't think about that one.
I think they brought it up recently with Johnny Swinger. He had a fanny pack. It's like, don't that belong to someone? He said no.
Emmy Sokol with the super chat saying Death Dolls got plush dolls. They have to win. No, they don't. If there's one thing Impact's going to do, it's release whatever the hell they want and then be like, now it's on sale. Or Death Dolls, they don't even need the tag titles just to hawk their merch. They've got a Robert Roode plush doll, or the beat 'em up guys. Robert Roode
don't even work
company in 70 years.
And we'll still buy it. Chris Sabin could be retired for 10 years and they could re-release the re-release pop and we'd still buy it. True.
Oh, look at this. Ricardo's going to watch Hard to Kill instead of WWE next week. All for it. He calls it the Fed for those of you listening on audio. By the way, if you're listening on audio, you want to drop us a 5-star review. I won't say no. Tell Sean Ross Sapp that we sent you, that Joel and Cresta sent you.
We love stars. My name is Cresta Starr, so I need all of them.
There you go. 5-star Cresta. That's the one. 7-star Cresta?
I mean, 80 stars in the Tokyo Dome. Listen, and the rare 40 million stars in Carnegie Hall. Y'all didn't even know I did a show in Carnegie Hall. The acoustics were a banger. I'll see myself out.
I played at the Iridian, which is like down the street from there.
Come on now.
That's right. Anyway, and then we got a promo from the design answering Sammy Callihan's challenge call out earlier in the night. Says Sammy wants to join the design, but it's something bigger than himself. It's a movement. The design is a movement that is cleansed in the blood of its designer, and that Sammy's identity would be stripped away, which is a long, difficult, and violent process. Pretty sure they just shave your head, but whatever. Next week, they're going to meet in the ring, and they're going to do just that. They're going to shave Sammy Callihan's head, and then Diener closes it out saying, you walk into a den of vipers, and you don't get to choose to be part of the design. The design chooses you. Over on Fightful.com now, you can check out my interview with Cody Diener, where we talk about his work with the design and working with Eric Young and getting Kevin Nash to pour a little sugar on himself so he can do a dance.
Period. And period. That's period.
Shout out to Cody Diener. He was a really fun interview. Go check that out. It's a double feature. Myself and Matt Young did interviews with Cody about 2-3 weeks apart. So they were tossed up on New Year's Day. Go check that out. That's going to be fun. Speaking of fun, we're here. Cresta, we're here. This is it.
My favorite segment. Oh, this was so good. It was so bad. It was good. Oh my
God. Moose comes out and he's like, I had done some bad things to be at the top of Impact. Joe Hendry, you're about to find out. Says Hendry's never had to face adversity. Says his life was so easy. And if it was that easy for Moose, he would be singing too. And then
how was it easy? Joe, I'm sorry, continue. That was my biggest question. He just got here. Am I missing some lore?
And listen, every time Hendry had a promo, all those introductory promos where Hendry, getting all the money,
motivating
girl, motivating,
maybe be a motivational speaker, Moose, instead of I can't say that on stream. Continue.
P.S. Diener is also a motivational speaker. Go check him out. So Moose is like, I've done everything and anything to get into the position I'm in now. I became a total scumbag. It's my true calling, and it made me the greatest champion Impact has ever seen. And he says Moose will be Joe Hendry's first adversity, taking his digital media championship, easy for me to say, wiping the smile off of his face, taking him to hell and back, and having a good time doing it. Wow. He says the job is going to be so easy, I don't even want to wait. So I know how to get him out of here. All I have to do is say his name. And immediately out comes Mr. Hendry. And he says, there's nothing wrong, there's nothing worse than a grumpy moose. Nobody does.
A grumpy moose.
He's like, this isn't the real moose. You have to let the real moose loose. And Joe Hendry says, I wrote you a new song, new entrance music. I'm not going to play it because then I'll get copyright struck by Impact, and we don't want that.
I give you a terrible rendition.
Would you? I would love that. Go ahead.
Wait, he says, say his name and Moose appears. You got rejected by football. You got rejected by football. Then he's like, something dancing, digging your butt. He showed pictures of Moose digging in his butt. How old are you? I'm hot. The only thing I gotta correct you on is that he did not say Joe Hendry's name once. I did a counter.
Okay. He did, but he didn't until he got to the calling him out.
I mean, technically, he said, I counted it was 4 times. And I was wondering when he was going to come out and interrupt this. He said Joe Hendry in the beginning. Joe Hendry didn't appear. He said something along the lines, I could just say his name. He didn't appear to the end. But it's like, you knew what you were doing. You knew what you were doing, Moose. You like the song, Moose? That was funny.
Well, I believe in dancing Moose, but he doesn't. Moose does not believe in it.
Moose don't believe in nothing. And he tried at the end, was like, you know what, Joe Hendry? You're right. I do need to embrace the full Moose. I thought he was going to tell him, come down to the ring and give me a hug and beat the shit out of him.
He's like, I believe that at Hard to Kill, I'm going to stick my size 13 boot up Joe Hendry's ass.
Yo, Joe Hendry was such a troll for that. But that honestly is one of the best promos I've ever seen from Impact. It was so stupid. It was good. It was great. It was great even.
Got rejected from football.
Whoa, that one cut so deep because that's not a joke. That's not a joke.
That was absolutely wild. I'm looking forward to this match only because it's going to be this mix of like comedy and Moose beating the shit out of Joe Hendry. And
And I
like
still think Joe Hendry's gonna win.
yeah, no, Moose will slip on a banana peel and Joe Hendry will beat him. Like not literally, but in the rest.
I could see it literally, and Impact playing the sound in the background, like whoop.
Well, wait a minute, I have a sound for that.
Yeah. Joe, please. I'm so hot. I'm sweating off my makeup. I got
This new soundboard has so much stupid shit on it, and that's one of the things.
I love that. We need to have a soundboard moment of the week every day on here. Every week on here. Like what happened this week? Wah wah wah.
Oh, that was easily one of my favorite moments of the show.
I'm legitimately hot. Between these lights and this sweater, and you got me laughing so hard, I'm legitimately hot.
Open up a window. It's mid-January. You're fine.
The urge to pull out my green screen, like how?
Let's talk about the Mickie James career retrospective. I saw you tweet about this, and I thought this was a really, really well done career retrospective. Okay. It's Mickie going over her career, talking about her time in TNA, talking about her time in WWE, putting over everyone that she has worked with. Of course, having met Nick Aldis, who is her real life husband in TNA, and they have kids together. They have a kid together. It was a slip of the tongue. And so a very good career retrospective for Mickie James. And then I noticed that you had tweeted out that you were not familiar with Mickie in her first runs in NWA TNA or later on in Impact. So talk to me about this. How do you feel about this career retrospective?
So I don't think I've told you, or maybe I might have. I used to watch wrestling way back in the day, and then I fell off, and I got back in 2018. And at that time, Mickie James was literally one of the girls. You go out, you get pinned. They tried to make her look crazy, which I guess was a callback to a gimmick she had before. But it was giving jobber. It was giving she don't do nothing. And then furthermore, for her to be dismissed and have her stuff sent to her in a garbage bag, it was like, damn, y'all really don't respect this woman. Seeing all the things that she went through in Impact, TNA, NW, in this retrospect, it's like, wow. And y'all called her back for that second time to do that? That's messed up. That's messed up. And I used to be one of those people like, I don't want to see no Mickie James. I'm turning the channel. But now watching her in Impact, it's like, wow, imagine what a good storyline will do. She's really one of the reasons why, like, I say now every wrestler is one gimmick, one storyline away from being your favorite wrestler. And a lot of the people who had quote unquote unfair shakes in WWE, when they go to Impact, when they go to AEW, or even New Japan, you see them completely different. And for some people, like in the Great Khan's case, like I would have never expected a guy from Ascension to be able to do anything. You know what I mean? So I thought this video package is up there with WWE's video packages, because WWE, when they want to do a good package, they do a good package, and it flowed seamlessly into the Don West tribute. I wish I knew more about Mickie James. And earlier back into the conversation, I said, well, all your favorites come from Impact. Come on now. Everything you love about wrestling probably comes from Impact.
Where is the lie?
I mean, that is one of my favorite things. Ironically, I don't know. Where's the lie?
This is just a really, really good video. It's on their socials. Go ahead, check it out. I think it's worth it. And it tells a really good story with Mickie James, because she really has been around for a long time, and she really has had an impact, no pun intended, on women's wrestling in North America. And when she decides it's her time to stop actively wrestling in the ring, I think that she would have a great career focusing maybe on backstage and production or whatever she chooses if she wants to stick around in wrestling. This really tells the tale of Mickie James and her career. So I was really, really impressed by this video. I thought it was really well done.
Yeah.
And like you said, they moved right into a Don West retrospective. Comments from Gail Kim, Josh Alexander, Moose, ODB appeared, Chris Sabin, Eddie Edwards, Sammy Callihan, Frankie Kazarian. A lot of people just, sharing their time, their experiences with Don, and thanking him for everything he gave to TNA and to wrestling. Just a really, really classy retrospective and video package for Don West. Not much I can add to it.
Yeah.
He was one of a kind. That's all I can say about the man, so good at what he did in a time when people were ridiculing him when he was on Impact and when he was on TNA. They were ridiculing him for being so over the top and so into the product. They thought that was hokey. It really wasn't. It
I
was
don't
genuine.
You can never be, to me, over the top announcers. Sometimes you need that. They're the voice. Like, how you can't be. Oh, I've heard JR call Triple H a snake son of a bitch more times on WWE at the top of his lungs. So to me, that you need that hype. You need someone yelling, because I feel like they don't make announcers like that no more. Like, everyone's pretty calm, pretty chill. They have a couple of jokes, but no one's giving you the Mario over. Is it Mario Ronaldo? The Mamma Mia! A lot of people aren't doing that. So hearing about this man, it makes me sad that I never got to experience his commentary live. But hey, he was the guy. Nothing wrong with being too hype.
Yeah, the man could. They're saying in the chat, he could sell anything to anybody. It doesn't matter what it was. A lot of people are going to talk about Don West and what he was able to do in his career, and can stand right by it. He's real good at it.
Mm-hmm.
So we can talk about Cardona and Chris Sabin. They went right into this match. Honestly, it's not that I had trouble paying attention to this match. It's honestly that I hate saying this, I didn't care as much about it. It was a good match. Cardona and Sabin know how to do the thing. But at the end of the day, these guys are going to be in a 4-way tag match at Hard to Kill. And so this was just an excuse to have these two go out and wrestle, which is great. I'm a fan of it. Sabin wins. Other than that, just a good match. Cradle Shock wins it. I don't know if you want to talk more about it or if you have anything to add about this Cardona and Sabin match.
I just find it very interesting. And I've noticed this with only one other person, and that's three other people, Sammy, Callihan, and Moose. If you are typically a face, you can wrestle heel against the major players and nobody will give a shit. Chris Sabin, Motor City Machine Guns were kind of doing little heely stuff, especially with that double team. You would think that, if it's a singles match, you would stay out of it. Nobody cares if you cheat on these guys. Nobody cares.
By the way, if you're here hanging out with us, it's good to see you. Drop a thumbs up on this video if you haven't already. We'd love to see it. We'd love to see you. Facebook, hi. I always shout you out because for some reason, like 100 million of you end up watching us on Facebook. So go ahead, do it. That's it. And then they're going to run down the Hard to Kill card, and Bully Ray shows up. This is why Cardona and Sabin were the main event. So that Bully could show
the show was over before he came out. I was like, okay, they're going to run down the card. We got so much time. And then this old man comes out.
Like I said at the top of tonight's show, I said I thought the Bully segment was going to run next week because it was going to be the go home segment. Turns out that's not the case. I guess the shaving of Sammy Callihan's head, that'll be the go home next week for Hard to Kill. Sure, whatever. Bully shows up. Everyone's like taken aback. They're scared shitless. And he grabs a mic, berates the poor audio guy, says he wants Josh Alexander now. Says, bring me a world champion now, or I'm going to grab a chair and start going into the audience, cracking skulls. And then Scott D'Amore comes out. I'm not going to be long-winded here. I have a lot of notes on this. I'll try my best here. Says Bully was nowhere to be found when Josh called him out a few weeks ago. Says we both know that Josh isn't here because Scott sent both men home before Hard to Kill. And clearly someone doesn't have brains in his head. Bully says, I have a brain in my head. I just don't respect anything you have to say. I should have you do the Bully lines because, you could do
He is from New York. We do not claim him. We do not claim people from Long Island. Him and MJF can hold hands in Jabroni Circle. We don't claim this man.
I have a brain in my head. I just don't have respect for anything. Anyway, I can do New York when I'm not like half asleep in my brain right now. Anyway, so Scott says Big Bad Bully loves to talk about how tough he is and how he's this big smart ass, but Scott brought him back for a very simple reason. By the way, before I start into this, I love that they finally explained it.
Yeah.
The phone call was made by Bully, and he was talking about being a changed man. So Scott believes that people can change, and he was pretty sure Bully was the same POS that he'd always been, POS being piece of shit, not the point of sale system. But he wanted to give Bully a chance. Said 12 years ago, Scott D'Amore left wrestling. He went home, took a hard look at himself. He didn't like who he was or who he'd become. So 5 years ago, Impact gave him the opportunity to do better, to reinvent himself. He wanted to give the same opportunity and benefit of the doubt to Bully Ray. He said, maybe this will be the redemption of Bully Ray, or it'll be a cautionary tale of what happens when you're obsessed with chasing success to the detriment of everything and everybody in your life. I loved that line, Cresta Starr. I thought that was very pertinent to this entire story. We're halfway through this promo. How did you feel with just Scott going off up until this point? Because he's going to go a little harder in a second.
I have notes, and the notes are very short form. Again, with the not you menacing Tom Hannafin. Scott, really, because I Scott Demore. Nah, we're not doing this. Get the fuck out. Bully Ray grabs the microphone. Scott Demore says, get that shit out of here.
Loved that.
And then when Scott Demore says, your play brother don't fuck with you. Your real brother don't fuck with you. You're divorced. Nobody in the back fucks with you. And I know Josh Alexander's going to beat you up. And even if Josh Alexander loses, no matter what you do, you'll always be garbage. You're going to go in that hotel. I thought he was going to tell him to unalive himself the way he was going with that hotel thing. He was like, you're going to go in there. You're going to close the door. You're going to sit by yourself. And I'm like, I thought he was going to say, then you're going to take the 45 to your head. Like, yo, Scott, I thought Canadians were nice. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, I want to see Scott Demore wrestle. I want to see your dad wrestle. He had the fire, man. I want to see this old man mix up. He could beat up Tommy Dreamer or the guy that put MJF over Disco Inferno.
All right. Enough of you. Home stretch, by the way. Get your super chats in. This is the home stretch. He says that Devon won't be seen anywhere in the same room as Bully Ray unless there's a giant bag of money involved. Says Tommy Dreamer's laying in the hospital bed as a result of Bully's hands, and Bully has systematically alienated everyone who's ever had faith in him again. Bars. Love those lines. Just so good. Says it hard to kill. Bully received the beating from Josh Alexander that he deserves. And at the end of the world title match, when Josh walks into that locker room, regardless of whether or not he has the title, his peers will respect him. Millions of fans will adore him. And he goes home to a family who loves him no matter what. But what about Bully, he says. So championship or not, you go back to a hotel room, you walk through that door, and you hear the eerie click for the millionth time. You're left alone in that room, sad, pathetic, a lonely man with only his thoughts around him, and that is a punishment worse than anybody could give him. Bully says Scott's wrong. Doesn't leave him sad or pathetic. It leaves him 3-time Impact World Champion. And
I love that. That line was delusion.
The balls on this guy.
What? Taz, my ball.
That's right. He brought Taz back just to yell my balls, and Taz was like, oh, I see them now, buddy. You don't need a cup for that. Oh, he says, I don't need Scott's respect. Your opinion of me means nothing. And Bully says, I used Scott Demore to get what I wanted. Bully Ray calls Scott a sucker. He says he's no different from the fans, from Tommy Dreamer, from the locker room. He's no different from anybody. And then it becomes a shoving match. The two guys just face to face. It's very tense. Bully berates Scott until Scott finally knocks the mic out of Bully's hands. Scott puts over his locker room, says that they always do the right thing. I taught them to do the right thing, but Scott has no reason to. And then he sucker punches Bully Ray, catches him off guard. And then out come Hotch and Skyler, and they're holding Scott Demore back while Bully Ray.
Doesn't sound like the whole locker room.
No, it doesn't. The whole locker room is now just hanging back because they've been told, no, he's got it. It's cool. We're doing the right thing, which is letting Scott get the shit kicked out of him by Hotch, Skyler, and Bully.
Now that you've said that, that doesn't make any sense. If nobody liked Bully Ray, how come no one came out to help Scott Demore, who everyone universally likes, allegedly?
Pro Wrestling Podcast with the Super Chat saying here's a couple more dollars for the Taz line.
Honestly, y'all can thank Joe Pearl for that because I didn't know that line existed. And so he sent me a link. Taz, my boss. I know. I saw it. You should have walked up.
One of my favorite TNA moments. So they get a table for Scott after a pile driver from Bully Ray. They get a table for Scott. Here's something maybe I shouldn't tell you, but if you saw the results when they were taped, this is what was supposed to happen. Cresta, that table was supposed to be on fire when they put Scott through it.
I didn't know Kane wrestled in Impact.
The Dudley boys did flaming tables before Kane did flaming tables. All right? Let's put that out there.
Are you sure it wasn't Cody Rhodes, the inventor?
Almost positive this time.
Cody Rhodes invented wrestling. What are you talking about? Just like Stephanie McMahon invented women's wrestling, Cody Rhodes invented wrestling.
Thank God for the art of editing, because unfortunately the table did not go up in flames as originally planned. Instead, they just kind of said forget it, and they just put him through a regular old table, which honestly, if you're gonna bring back the old bully, takes out the boss thing like he did to Dixie back in the day, not doing the table on fire was fine.
I don't think you need it for Scott D'Amore. You need that for something like a Moose. I mean, I get the heat, but Scott, your dad, is he like 60?
And so one thing that I absolutely loved about this whole thing was when he's going through this table, Tom Hannafin just yells, "You bastard!" And I was like, just the emotion was perfect. I was a big fan of that.
Yeah. Tom Hannafin got menaced for no reason. I can understand menacing Matthew Raywell because I can understand menacing him. But he came out and said, "Don't even look at me." This was Tom Hannafin the whole time. You ain't have to menace that man. He ain't doing nothing to you, bully. I would have said the same thing. He channeled his inner Jim Ross. Triple H, you son of a bitch.
You won't get away with this. But yeah, it was a really tense and really good finish to this episode of Impact. Yeah. Bully Ray grabs the microphone and says, "I know who I am. I'm Bully Ray, your next world champion." And that was Impact this week.
It was a good Impact.
I'll never see my daddy again.
You know what? I would offer to pay for his medical bills, but I live in America where I can't even afford to pay my own medical bills.
Scott, all I'm saying, I got 2 questions for you when I see you. 1, do you know you're my dad? 2, do you have the footage of Cody Deaner getting Kevin Nash to pour some sugar on himself and dance? It was your show. It was your promotion. I'm just saying.
This is going to be Scott D'Amore showing you. Look at this. No, I'm not sending it to you.
Someone from Impact is going to watch this show and send it to him and be like, these clowns do this every week on the show.
You know what? I know Joe Hendry knows because we believe. And maybe right. Scott D'Amore, you need to believe in seeing your son, Joe Pearl, more.
God bless
He misses you, Dad. I miss you, Dad. No, Stokely Hathaway's my father. Sorry.
We're back next week for the Go Home show to Hard to Kill. We're back the following night on Friday the 13th after Hard to Kill. We're going to review the show right after it goes off the air, as we do now. It's Cresta and myself every week for the Impact shows, regardless of what they are, when they are. We do them for you, the people, because we appreciate you, the people.
We Cresta. The people.
No, he does. Okay. He's on Sportskeeda. He doesn't matter. Cresta, tell them where they can find you on the internet.
Well, to echo what Joel said, we will be here Thursday and Friday. So wrestling show, sleep. Next wrestling show, sleep. Wrestling show, sleep. Anyway, you can find me anywhere. You can type Cresta Starr on the internet, whether that be TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, except Twitter. That's Cresta the Starr. So Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, anywhere you can type Cresta Starr. Thursdays, like Joel said, I am here with him. Friday next week, we're going to be reviewing Hard to Kill. Saturdays over on Know Your News, our little sister site, myself and Jules the Human, we cover gaming gone weird games. And this week, I hope you guys are ready for weird games or games in weird movie adaptations. I'm going to ask you a question, Joel. Do you remember the Super Mario Brothers Super Show?
Hell yeah, I do. I used to watch
yes, we got to talk after this. Well, he didn't know. That's the type of stuff you guys can see on Saturday. Joel Porro, where can they find you before I suck the air out of this room?
I'm an old ass man. By the way, Graham with the super chat saying for Cresta's medical bill.
All the carpal tunnel. Thank you.
Oh, it's from all the gaming gone weird. By the way, go check out Know Your News. I'm a producer on that channel, so I have to contractually put it over. This week on the Know Your News show that Jimmy does, Gabby Ortiz joined us. That's Gabbity. She's a phenomenal wrestler, and this was a lot of fun. We did that earlier today on the channel, so go to youtube.com/knowyournews. Really good stuff out there. I am at Joel Pearl, JoelPearl. Go check me out on Fightful Overbooked. Go check me out on Know Your News. Even though I don't have a show, I just kind of sit in the background and put stuff on the screens while I do the thing. Whatever, man. We'll be back. See you next Thursday, and we'll see you on Friday. And by the way, thank you once again, Pro Wrestling Podcast, for the super chat. On our way out, ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.
Bye.